So next up, we've got Sahyannika Das. And Sahyannika is a 15-year-old teenager who likes biology and likes to do stamp collecting and gardening in her free time. She's also a great enthusiast of any kind of cartoon and can curiously watch them for hours without getting bored. Good morning, my name is Deborah and I'm from Canada. Welcome to GIFT, Sahyannika.
Thank you, hi.
I'd like to good morning. I'd like to have my co-panelists introduce themselves as well so you know who you're speaking with today, who you're sharing your brilliant ideas with today.
Hi, my name is Melissa. I'm from the United Kingdom and I also love biology. And I went to university. I went to university to study biology because I loved it so much. And I even went on to do a PhD in biology, and then for a while became a biology GCSE and A-level teacher because my real passion is with biology. So I am super excited to hear from you. Welcome.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning from Toronto, Canada. My name is Erin, and we have a lot in common. I love cartoons, so I understand that you also love cartoons, and I have a lot of appreciation for biology and innovation as well. So it is such a treat to meet you, and thank you so much for sharing with us today. I'm going to hand the microphone to you. Take it over.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sahyannika and I live in Jakarta, Indonesia. And I'm in grade 10 studying in Gandhi Memorial Intercontinental School here in Jakarta. So today I'm going to be talking about chicken bone fertilizer. Do you mind if I share my screen?
Please do.
So today I'm going to be talking about chicken bone fertilizer. As during this pandemic, we are all in our houses. Me and my sister, who is in grade 6, decided to do gardening. We already have many plants. My mom is also an enthusiast of gardening. She plants like many hibiscus, rose in our balcony. So I decided that whenever we eat chicken, we always throw the bones away, but we do not realize how much nutrients those bones have. So like whenever you eat those bones, or whenever you eat chicken, you throw away those bones into the trash can, right? But if you have ever wondered, they do not really end up in the landfill. Instead, they end up in the ocean, which is harming our ecosystem and also harming marine animals, such as fishes can die if they eat those bones and it gets stuck on their throat. So many species and many animals can die this way. I decided to make a chicken bone fertilizer out of chicken bones as they are high in phosphorus, potassium, nitrogen, and calcium. That's why chicken bones can be used as fertilizer, as all these 4 nutrients are needed by the plants to grow and bear fruits and flowers. I wanted to share more about chemical fertilizer and bone fertilizer. As you know, we all buy chemical fertilizer, and here in Indonesia, it is very expensive to buy chemical fertilizers, which is in Indonesian currency, it's 100,000. And if you didn't know, chemical fertilizers burn the soil, and it actually harms the soil in many ways, such as it's really costly, and then it kills microbes that are present inside the soil, which helps the plant grow and bear fruits and flowers. So if you think that chemical fertilizers will promise you whatever they have wrote in the packet, it's not really reliable. So sometimes they just say that your plant will grow bigger, but it actually doesn't happen. And they have additive nutrients, which are also harmful for your plants. Bone fertilizer, on the other hand, acts as a slow release fertilizer, which means that if you put 1 spoonful onto your soil, it will release slowly and slowly. So it lets the plant absorb all the nutrients rather than going to waste. It's cheaper than chemical fertilizers. You can make it at your home. I have made it homemade. It's a great source of phosphorus, as they don't have additive nutrients in it. So it's a great source of phosphorus and contains calcium for the bearing of fruit and flowers. So these are my raw materials. On the left hand side, you can see these are bones. These are bones that I got from chicken thighs and legs, and you can see I boiled them. They are laid out in the sun. We can obviously use an oven, but an oven can take a lot of energy, and it can also take out all the nutrients that are present in it, because it's providing a not a natural kind of heat. As if you put it into the sun, it is a natural sunlight, so it is better for the nutrients present inside the bones, so it is better for your plants too. These are green beans that are soaked in water overnight, and these green beans were soaked just because it will gain water and it will be easier for me to plant them into the soil later in the morning. My procedure in here was, I started off by collecting bones, because every Sunday we eat chicken. So I collected those bones and washed them and put them in a freezer. After 1 day, I cleaned them and sterilized them. What I mean by sterilize is put them into hot boiling water, so the meat and the oils come out of it, as it may harm your plant. So if you do that for 10 to 15 minutes in boiling hot water, it will really help the bones. Then you put them under the sun. As I mentioned earlier, you can obviously use an oven, but oven gives an unnatural light. So I would suggest you to use sunlight for more natural light. Once the bones are brittle and dry, crush them into a fine powder. First, you can do this with a mortar and a pestle. So you grind them, and after that, you can put them into a food processor for more texture. It will become like salt, and once ground up, it's ready to use. I do have my bone fertilizer here. As you can see, these are like particles like salt, and this is my bone fertilizer. I also have a picture for you to look clearly. These are the chicken bones, and when I ground them up and everything is done, this is the finished product. The one which I had here has soil in it, so you can directly use it, but you can also put some soil into it for better use. These are my results. So I planted green bean plants and tomato plants. I did 12 trials, which are 6 with fertilizer and 6 without fertilizer, and I watched them grow for 14 days, and I recorded my results. So this is my bar graph. As you can see, green bean with fertilizer has obviously grown more taller than the one without the fertilizer. From the results, I can see that the green bean with the fertilizer grew 2 times more taller than the one without the fertilizer. This is with tomato with fertilizer and tomato without fertilizer. As you can see here also, that the one with the fertilizer obviously grew 2 times taller than the one with the fertilizer. And my cherry tomato plants already have some flower, the one with the fertilizer, which means after the flowers dry, they can produce cherry tomatoes and there will be fruits. These are pictures. So I brought this green beans from a local shop downstairs, and these are when I put them inside the water to soak water overnight. As you can see, when I planted them, they were small. And on the right hand side, you can see the picture. The top one is without fertilizer, the bottom one with fertilizer. As you can see that the one without the fertilizer has obviously grown. Obviously there are more plants, and the one with the fertilizer has more plants. And I also saw that the one without the fertilizer, many plants died. So there was less seeds that actually grew than the one with the fertilizer. Here are some pictures. As you can see, these are cherry tomato plants which are growing, and on the left hand side it's a green bean plant. These are my pictures, so I labeled them so it doesn't cause any confusion between the plants. And that is my fertilizer after I added some soil into it, so it's for better use. These are some small flowers that are growing onto my cherry tomato plant so they can produce fruit later. And that's it for my presentation. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to ask.
Sahyannika, I'm blown away by your process and your presentation.
And I also want to share, if you don't mind, that YouTube is blowing up. You have a lot of fans in the stands. So people are so impressed. They're talking about how thoughtful you are and how much thinking went into your process clearly. I'm just waiting on some questions to see if they're there. In the meantime, Deborah, over to you, sorry.
No worries, that's great. I'm not surprised. I have this, your presentation has been so rich. A couple of questions for you. In terms of when you were drying the chicken bones in the sun, was it just in your backyard or was it on the roof? Where did you dry them?
I stay in an apartment, so I have balcony. So I just put it in a container and let it dry out in my balcony with natural sunlight that was coming. Because Indonesia is now in Jakarta, it's not raining or anything. It's pretty hot here, so sunlight is always there.
This is awesome.
Oh, go ahead, Melissa.
Oh, I really enjoyed your presentation, and it's really great to see how many experiments you've done. You are a real scientist.
Thank you.
You've done lots of experiments to get as much information as possible to really optimize your invention ideas, which is fantastic. That's so professional.
Thank you.
It all makes perfect sense. And what you know, everything that you're saying is great and it makes sense. It doesn't make sense that we're using all of these chemicals which have so many negative effects and, like you say, aren't really as effective. And we have natural stuff there. I was just saying earlier that in the UK we have loads of waste food, and we have to separate our waste food and it all goes somewhere. So it all makes perfect sense. How are we going to change this culture, this chemical culture that has developed and is supposed to be amazing science and has been going on for a long time now? And it happens across the globe. How are we going to change that culture so that everybody believes what you're saying, and which shouldn't be too difficult to convince people, but then actually makes them change their methods and change what they're doing? How do we do that?
We have to make people do everything. Right now we are in a pandemic, so I don't think many of us are going out. So I think we should start using recyclable materials to actually explore like how much harm we are doing to our planet. We can actually use recyclable materials and we can do many things out of it. So everything is available, but we are not using it. That's the problem.
Yeah. How are we going to change people's minds? How are we going to change the way that they think so that we can change what they do? So that they think like you. What do you think we need to do? What can we do? Have you got any ideas?
We need to have more young people do this, as they are the backbone of the country, I would say. So many young children, students should obviously try new things like gardening, or for example, making up robots in their home, helping their mom and dad for making a small accounting book, for example. Your mom can't keep all the expenses, and you can make an accounting book for your mom, help your dad manage his meetings.
Do you know what? It sounds as though you are the perfect kind of person to be the inspiration to make those changes. it needs somebody like you whose face and voice is in lots of different places. Have you heard of Greta Thunberg?
Yes.
Yeah? Well,
Yeah.
we need you to be another Greta Thunberg talking about these great things. And we need your face and the things that you're saying to be spread across the globe. You are that inspiration, and I think that you are the perfect kind of person to do that kind of education. And you've started doing it. You've started to educate us. And however many people are watching right now. So you've already started that journey. Actually, the answer to my question is, I'm already doing it. Well done, really impressive.
Thank you.
Really well done, thank you.
Thank you.